I wanted to cover this song for a long time, but never tried to learn it except for trying to double a bit using this A5 shape. And it was fun to learn, especially since there is seemingly only one way to play it, and I was especially happy when I found another way. I really want to tell this story because I find it interesting. But if you want to skip it to actual fingerings, I'll put a timestamp here where to skip it to. As always with this kind of songs where you don't have live performances, don't have clear information, you're on your own on learning it, and Mark himself probably can't remember how he did it. So the only thing you can do is keep trying and never be 100% sure. If you read a great article by Ingo from mkguitar.com, great website by the way, in it he says that Mark said that he played this song in an open G tuning. And it was a deep challenge, man, because what I did was I tried every single open G tuning fingerings that there is, in every capo position imaginable, in both parts. And my conclusion is the rhythm part that was played in the open G tuning with a capo on the 5th fret. And the main riff is in standard tuning, played in the 5th position. Not in the 2nd position like everybody else plays it on YouTube. And I played open G tuning in the beginning of this video over the riff, so you get the idea. Speaking of playing in the 2nd position, here is my problem that I played down here. First is that I find this sound being too clear, too twangy for what it is, even on acoustic. If you listen closely, you can hear how dramatically different the sound is. Instead of this almost country twang, in the 5th position the tone is much darker. You can't beat the physics, and thicker strings meaning more powerful sound. The difference become night and day on electric guitar, and especially if you're using light gauge strings. Same goes with the next chord, which happens to be the D7. Last but not least, they're extremely handy to play together. Not a big stretch like this. It's a good example of trial and error, because at first I thought like everybody else, let's just play it in the 2nd position like in the song Communique and call it a day. But it didn't work. Okay, what's the options? I tried capo on a couple of frets and it sort of worked, but unfortunately with lots of compromises like excessive strings, squeaking noise, awkward shapes and big stretches. But the breakthrough came when I realized you can actually play the first 2 notes down here to make it sound more interesting. Another clue is that on the record there's a lot of distinct overtones. I wondered what is that all about. And so I think because there's lots of overtones and harmonics over the 5th and 7th fret, it's another clue about this type of fingering being used. Last but not least, playing this riff in the 5th position not only reduces finger noise, also less stressful for the fingers and easier to switch between chords. Anyway, this is how I do it step by step. Actually, this is a 3-chord blues song, not an extremely hard one, alright? G, D, A5. And the finger is extremely straightforward too. It's open, then 4 fourth intervals. The one after the bass, I play the 3 fingers. Thumb and index both on the 5th string. Kinda like in Money for Nothing, same sort of technique. Next one is also like this. What it does, it gives a sort of a percussion effect. Little but awesome. Then it's a series of thumb and upstroke movements, the 2 fingers. Pretty straightforward, starting with up. Up, thumb, up, thumb, up, thumb, up. Add a couple of mutes and you get this. The thumb thing I play is actually more like a downstroke, playing 2 notes. At a time. What it does is keeping 2 melodies. Whereas if you would play only 1 note with the thumb, the bottom melody would win over. Also, as the communique, as I think, using a thumb downstroke give a chance to get more substance out of this riff, for it not to sound too thin. The D7 riff is absolutely the same idea, only in the 7th position now. The bass is different. This is a very MK way to play major chords. He uses it all the time. This is a 2-part riff, because if you just go it sounds stupid and boring, so you need to spice it up. And Mark does it with 1 additional note beat. First time it's 1 beat. Second time 2 beats, just like that. Hardcore fans know that the studio version is not the only version that exists, because live and on the demos it was a completely different tune. Different rhythm, different tempo, different instruments. All what stayed the same was chords and words. I think it's because the studio version is too difficult to play and sing at the same time. And as with Communique, the main riff is so distinctive, it needs to be played for the whole song, but obviously Mark couldn't play solos and the riff at the same time. I'm sure if he could have come up with a different arrangement, we would hear this title track being performed live, but for what it is, it's too hard. Three-chord song, how cool is that?